friends, it's your blonde scientist here to have another exciting day of product reviews. So before we begin all that, let me talk about myself a little bit, my favorite topic, and that would be what I do on a day-to-day basis. What does a food scientist do? So a lot of times I'm in the lab creating new recipes, coming up with new formulations for our products that you see on the market. So for instance, when I was doing bagel formulation, I would, do a new flavor. I did some like chocolate lovers bagel where we had extra chocolate and chocolate pieces in there. Formulating things like, okay, so you would go to your local deli, for instance, and buy a chocolate bagel, and it would have chocolate chips in it, and they can do that because they're making it on their line, and, the mess, they're making maybe a dozen bagels. When we do it in manufacturing and you're making 500-pound dough, which makes thousands of bagels, you clearly can't add chocolate chips because they'll start melting out, and once they do, they'll stick to the oven band and burn. So my job as a scientist is to come up with new, innovation, find new products on the market, and for instance, like a chocolate chip replacement, we could do a chocolate flavored, carbohydrate based bit, which is basically a sugar bit, but it's formulated to withstand the heating and boiling process of a bagel manufacturing facility. So just some instance, that is what we do as scientists. Coming up with, cookies that have fortified with fiber and protein, and, I'm a huge fan of the Quest bars, so coming up with delicious flavors but still give you that 22 grams of protein and fuel you for the whole morning. That's when I eat them. It's for my breakfast. That's what we do, and I really love it. I have a passion for it, and I'm trying to get in more on the health and wellness products. I would love to begin formulation on that. I'm over cakes, even though today's review is going to be a cake, spoiler alert. I love doing cake, but cake does not love me. I would love to be the best version of myself, so we're going to start working on that. But in the meantime, let us start with today's product review. So today we will be reviewing this cool Hostess product that I found in Kroger. It's called Hostess Bakery Petites. They're decadent small batch treats. I love marketing. It gets me. So this package got me. It was on its own little standalone end cap at my Kroger, and it comes. This one is a white vanilla fudge. Told you I love birthday cake. Oh, and done by honor of cakes, all things cake. Look at my cool backdrop. It's cupcakes. So I want to point that out. But this one also comes in a chocolate raspberry and a fudge brownie they have on the market. So they have 3 flavors that they've come out with. Basically, it is a cake pop without the stick. So I think my last company, we called these truffles. Everybody calls them something a little different. But basically, it is a cake with an icing center in a compound fudge coating with some sprinkles. What I like most about what they're doing here is they're touting no artificial colors and flavors and no high fructose corn syrup. So it's basically just made with sugar. And it's not natural, but they use that no artificial flavors and colors line as good marketing, and made with real vanilla. So let us begin our tasting of this product. Okay, first things first, before we taste, let's look at the nutritionals. You can have 3 cakes for 210 calories. What is 3 cakes, you ask? Well, 3 cakes are about this many. It fits in the palm of my hand. See? Ooh. One of these cakes, it's just a little round shaped piece of cake, flat on the bottom where it was on the conveyor belt. Waterfall dripped with the icing. And then there's sprinkles added. And these are natural colored sprinkles. So they use vegetable juice as the coloration. Just in my opinion, marketing. But you know, a lot of people don't want artificial flavors and colors, so more power to them. I did cut one open, and it doesn't look as cool as the picture did on the packaging, but you can see a little dollop of icing, a layer of cake, and the fudge coating. So compared to the picture, I think they have a little bit more icing in there. I was really disappointed when I cut it open to see how scarce the icing was, and I did cut open several different ones, and they were all pretty much like that, with the icing not centered, kind of towards the bottom. So I kind of got a dud batch, I think. But for 210 calories, I mean, that's a 35-minute walk at a pretty brisk pace, like a 3.5 if you're on a treadmill. So looking at this plate, I don't know if it's worth it. Well, let's try. I don't know. So first, let me take a bite. So first thing I notice is texture. I'm a really big texture junkie kind of thing, where I don't like texture. So you get like a dry, gummy bite. So the cake itself is dry. I don't really like the cake. I think it's like, yeah, I think it's dry. The cake itself is not moist. It needs to be way moister. The icing is bland, doesn't have much flavor, but it gives it that gooiness in the center. So that kind of helps with the cake dryness, because what I think is going on is the icing, the cake probably at one time was pretty moist, but the icing moisture has now caused the cake to be dry. Then you have the layer of icing, and that's okay. It doesn't taste like much, but what I get are the sprinkles. The sprinkles are really crunchy, so when you're chewing it, it's like crunch, crunch, crunch. I mean, it's not bad, but I'm really disappointed in how dry the cake is. I think they could have did a little bit better, and who knows, you know, from batch to batch, you know, operator to operator to line shift, things could change, but I'm just not a huge fan. So little disappointed in the Hostess Petites. I was hoping for a little bit more, so I'd say half a thumb on my rating system. All right, guys, you've been great. I don't think I have anything else to add about this product. It was okay. It has real vanilla for those of you, and no artificial colors and flavors if that's something you care about. Oh, but I did want to point out that it still has artificial preservatives and conditioners. So it still has your SSL, your polysorbate 60, your potassium sorbate, your sorbic acid, those items in there to keep the product fresh so it can sit on the shelf for, oh, this has a long shelf life. June 14th, and I bought this in May, so this has like a month or more shelf life. That's crazy. So the cat wants to see what we're doing. Say hello, everyone. Hi, girls. But yeah, so long shelf life, so it needs to have those preservatives. So like I said, everything with marketing and bakery products, you got to have those conditioners and things in there to keep the product moist, even though I don't think they're working. All right. If that's my time today, everyone. So have a great afternoon or morning, whatever time it is there. And I will talk to you later on the next episode. Bye.